Welcome to the Biz Bash podcast, where we make biz strategy a piece of cake. I'm Elisabeth.
And I'm Cami, but you might know us better as Eliza and Calligraphy and Cami Monet. We want to help you, our fellow stationers, artists, and calligraphers, confidently build a profitable and personality-driven creative biz.
We're here to share our honest-to-goodness advice and actionable strategies for ambitious artists.
So put on your party hat, quit being a procrastinator gator, and let's get this party started.
Hey guys, it's us. Elisabeth is blowing her nose, but there's bugs in her tissues. It's weird. I don't know. Just kidding. We're just chit-chatting about her. Oh, we were supposed to be snappy. We're just chit-chatting about her basement situation. But you guys, it is the 2022 year in review. It is finally 2023. It's January, and we're going to talk about what happened last year. You guys love these episodes based on our little survey we did for you guys. The year in review episodes are some of your favorites because we really give you a huge look behind the scenes, like no holds barred. Here's the actual numbers. Here's what exactly happened, our revenue, expenses, how much money we made, all that good stuff. So we're going to go through all that for you guys today and talk about our little highs and lows of the year. And I have always loved hearing from other makers and creatives like, oh, what do you actually make? Like, I think it's fascinating, and it's helpful too, to like see just some clarity around things. Like, people are like, oh, I made, 6 figures. What does that mean? What does that mean? So we're going to talk about all those things, big expenses, all that kind of stuff. So let's do it.
Yeah, I'm excited. And we went back and looked at previous recordings and realized that our one from last year was like an hour and 15 minutes long, and the one from the year prior was probably a similar length. And we're trying to keep it snappy this year. We'll see how good Cami and I do, because we don't want to split it up into multiple episodes. So we're just going to go ahead and get started and do the thing. So do we want to do our little like monthly overviews, Cami? Or
yes, I like starting with that because it
rather
just
than the
feels
numbers.
Very raw to come in hot with numbers like right off the bat. I don't know.
Here's what I made. Boom. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go ahead and start in January. My 2 things that I have put down was that I helped Nat of Papel & Co. film her plant and grow course. So I went down to Miami to help her with that. And she's actually in Hallandale Beach, which is north of Miami. But anyways, I also bought my pottery wheel and kiln in January because I was very determined to have a new hobby in 2022, and I definitely succeeded in that. And that turned into so much more, which I will also talk about later.
Oh, that is so cool that you started your year off with that too.
Yeah, I did.
Buying the kiln. So do you feel like you have successfully become an expert potter in 2022?
Very much hobby potter. I think I fired the kiln a total of 4 times, which it is quite the process to do. And you need to make enough work to actually fill your kiln. So that takes a long time. So I learned a lot. I learned a lot about pottery. And yes, I feel like I very successfully tackled a new hobby without making that. It was my goal to not make that very public. I would allude to it, but I wasn't like sharing my work or sharing my process or trying to sell my work. And that was really good for me creatively. So yeah, I succeeded for sure.
I call it a success. Also, hobby potter sounds like a name of a knockoff Harry Potter book. So
yeah, right.
Oh, hobby potter. Okay, carry on. So January for me. Well, we all know what January was for me. I had a baby. I had Mia. So that is all my January.
Okay.
Basically, because I mean, leading up to that, like January 1st was just like me trying to tie up all the loose ends of my business and figure out, okay, what I need to actually have done, complete, like have all my little ducks in a row, all my ducks and my squirrels and my geese, and they're not in a row. They're just kind of in a bucket. But anyway, put them all in the bucket and get everything tied up before I had her. And then I had Mia on January 20th. So that's pretty much the highlight of my January, because I don't think I was really necessarily launching anything, just trying to wrap up things as best as I could.
Yeah, totally fair. And also, to be noted, her original due date was February. So Mia came earlier than expected. So that really put a crunch on the timeline.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, January, nothing really happened in January except for having baby Mia. So
yes, which was a big deal though. Very big deal.
Biggest deal ever, yes. The best.
Okay, so February, my best friend Aubrey got married, and I was a bridesmaid in that wedding. So I went back to Colorado a couple times early in the year, one of those being for the wedding. And the retaining wall at our house got fixed, and that was like one of the highlights of my year. So that happened in February. Our contractor for the wall was actually out just this past week because we need to add some more riprap to some parts of the creek. And anyways, I had sent him and his family a Christmas card, and there was a little blurb in the card about the retaining wall, and he was like, I just didn't realize how big of a deal it was to you. And I was like, Norm, it was the biggest deal. Because it's like first time homeowners and was a total like disaster situation. And so I was like, yes, it was a big deal. And you played a big role in that. But yes, that was my February.
So my February, let's see. I didn't really write down anything for like February through April because I mean, I was in
Baby
mom
things.
mode, okay?
Yeah.
Doing baby things. So February was just, I know that was like kind of a couple weeks after we had Mia. So I was like kind of out and about. So we took her out to the shop. We were just like starting to take her out into the world, I guess. So just going out and about in the world with Mia. So I thought it was really fun to take her to the shop for the first time. And like, of course, she's just a newborn, but I was like, look at what mommy does and show her all the things. So that was like really special for me to take her there for the very first time. And then I think I did like a little tiny miniature Valentine's Day launch, but I don't think it was like anything monumental at all. I think I just relaunched stuff basically.
Yeah, I think you like put it as a category in your shop and everything and pushed it and sent some emails, but you're right. I don't think there was a lot of new things added.
Yeah. Yeah. And this was also, we had like some transitions in the folks who worked for me. So it was a little funky there for a little bit. So that I kind of still had to take on the role that I wasn't normally doing of like emailing and just taking some admin task back on as I took on baby Mia as well. So that was fun. So we were juggling all the things in February and March.
Yes. Juggling all the things, but you made it and here you are.
Yes.
My March was jury duty, like right off the bat. Seriously, best time ever. Freaking loved it. Also a highlight of my year. And I'm not even being sarcastic either. And then March is when I also began some contract hours for Brit over at Swell Press. So I had done course management for Brit, and I transitioned into an hourly role for a little bit for her. I think all the way up through kind of like the end of October, actually, I did that. And I had forgotten about that. There was like all this time blocked out in my calendar for this. And I was helping her design her invitation collections behind the scene, or not design them, but when a client would come through and need them customized, I was helping doing that. And so that was great to have some additional like supplemental income during a year where it's a big transition year. And we will talk about like financial stuff later, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. My finances look very different this year.
I love how these are always like transition year for both of us in like such different ways. I did not write anything for March, but I'm pretty sure I just hung out by the pool with Mia. Mm-hmm. And let's see what else. Like my grandma came down. I mean, nothing really like crazy going on at this shop. Oh, I did start like ordering Easter stuff. I remember like trying to go hard on the shop on Easter. So just like bringing in some new products. So I feel like the first half of the year was me just like being like shopkeeper light and like learning how to dabble in what kind of stuff I wanted to order for the shop, where I could actually buy things from, and just kind of like dabbling into that, especially because it was easier for me to shop other people's products than necessarily sit down and have the time to paint and create my own. So I was like, okay, how can I like supplement this? So I feel like March and April, there was a lot of like exploring of buying for the shop going on. I'm looking through my photos, so that's helping me like remember what I did.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And I was going to say, is that the time you started bringing in other products as well that weren't just Cami Monet?
No, I did bring in products from the get-go that weren't Cami Monet because I'd be like, you know what, I really need something that is round here, and everything I have is very square. So I'd be like, oh, okay, I need a round candle. Because when I was like merchandising the shop, it was more about like what I wanted the space to look like. But then I was like, oh, but this would work really well with this, and just started like playing with that a little bit more and being like a little more comfortable with bringing in more stuff because I wanted the shop to be robust. And also, again, it was just like a lot easier to supplement the shop with that without me having to, be like, okay, well, if I want to have something round, I need to come up with a candle line instead just going to a maker, instead of having to do it all myself, basically.
Right. Yep, that completely makes sense. Okay, let's see. Bouncing back to my April. So during all of this, I should say, like during these months, I'm like highlighting some personal things that happen for me, but I'm doing contract hours, right? I'm still helping people manage courses, relaunch their courses, and doing all of that. I just didn't write each month all of that was happening. So April, the very beginning, I visited Fort Myers with my cousin and his wife. Will and I really enjoyed traveling with them, and we did a couple times this year. And the craziest part about this, the reason I included it is because after the hurricane that happened in the fall, that whole area that we went and visited, like the downtown Myers waterfront area, is gone. And so that is still like crazy to me. Like I'm constantly looking things up to kind of like see how Fort Myers is doing and the rebuild is going for them because I feel like I have that, I don't know, just like that personal connection of visiting.
Mhm.
It just felt very surreal to me and very odd to have like all those memories in that trip and then to have, you know, everyone be devastated by that storm. So, yes, a little bit of a tangent, but that was my little like April highlight.
Yeah, that's not really a highlight. That's really sad. But
I
yeah, it's
know.
a
My
noteworthy
April
event.
memory and
April memory,
yeah.
yes. Yes. Let's see. Okay. April for me, at the last minute in April, I decided to make a graduation party pennant, a grad party pennant, and I was like, I'm going to do a limited run of these because it has a date on it. And I pretty much sold out of those in like 3 days. So I was like, shoot, should have made more, but I didn't have time to order more. So that was my highlight of April, was just releasing a pennant. I mean, you just never know how things are going to go. So graduation pennant was awesome and sold out really quickly. And I turned that around in like 2 seconds. So that was like my first like being like, okay, I'm going to create something again. I think that was like my first step into like actually creating again after like having a million ideas. I still have a million ideas, but not enough, not a million minutes. So that was like my first little product back in the game.
Yes. And what a great way to get back in the game, too.
Yeah.
Let's see. May, I actually wrote that I did some envelope addressing this month. Shocker. That's like my one wedding thing that I was willing to take on. I took on a couple envelope addressing jobs that were local so people could come and drop things off with me. And that was what I had written for May.
Let's see. For me, for May, well, obviously, you guys know we did one a day in May, and it was crazy. I do not know. Like looking back, I'm like, how did we even attempt to do that? But definitely still did one a day in May, created something every day, got some painting in. That was pure chaos because I'm still trying to figure out how to be a mom, obviously. But we still did one a day in May. I relaunched Star Spangled Summer and started bringing on a ton of party wear and in-store products. That was when I was like, all right, I'm pulling the trigger on this. And that was like my first like test of putting them onto the website because before it was just like in-store only. But I would show them on stories and I would be like, oh, I want to buy this. And so I'd have to like circumvent a way to do it. I'm like, why don't I just put these on the website where anyone can buy it? Because that felt weird to me. It felt really icky. But I was like, okay, I'm just going to try it with Star Spangled Summer and see how that goes. And it was another fantastic launch with that. And people really enjoyed the different products I brought with it. And I felt like it was like just the right balance where it wasn't too much other stuff, but and not enough Cami Monet, but it felt like a good fit. So then I was just encouraged to keep trying that for the rest of the season. But May was like kind of the turning point with that. And then, of course, still designing something every day for one a day in May and getting some new products out the door and just kind of, I don't know, refiguring out my creative muscles again because it was just kind of weird. You're still in like a brain fog. I mean, I'm still in a brain fog from having a baby, but it felt really good to do that and connect with you guys. And a lot of y'all thought I was nuts, and I am nuts, but it was a very fun May. I had a good one.
Yeah. I know. One a day in May is always really fun, regardless of what's going on.
Yes. Also, side note, I did find a cabbage tea set in May, and I went and bought it at this lady's house, and that was very exciting because you guys know the cabbage hat thing. So,
oh my gosh,
big
that was
highlight, you guys.
I did not realize that was last year. For some reason, I thought that was the year before. Oh my gosh, time has no meaning.
Time has no meaning, truly.
Okay, so June, I assisted my friend Carrie Joy with shooting a wedding in the Highlands, North Carolina. Just to be clear, I carried her gear. I did not actually photograph anything, but that was fun to have this little trip and kind of reconnect to some wedding roots without having all the pressure on me. So it was really fun to enjoy like a beautiful, wonderful wedding. It was like very intimate and very cool. And I also took a 3-week pottery class in June. So out of the house, and I drove to go to class, and it was like a 2-hour class for 3 weeks, and just continued to hone my pottery skills a little more.
That is just adorable, and I love it. You're like living the cottagecore lifestyle right now.
Oh, yeah, I know, right?
Yes. Okay. So June for me, I launched my first pajama set with Little Pajama Co. So that was really exciting because I've been so excited to finally release those because they take forever to get done. So did my first pajama launch, and then also June was like the time when I was like, you know what? I need to go viral on TikTok. I need to start making TikTok videos. So I started like actually utilizing TikTok. I still have not gone viral or done anything super great, but I have put effort into it. So that counts for something. So started with more of like strategically looking at how I can use TikTok in my business and posting really dumb stuff. So you can definitely see like a very hard starting point on my TikTok of where I decided to like actually put some effort in.
Yeah.
Not that it matters. I'm trying so hard, you guys. It's so hard. Oh, yeah. Anyway, okay, moving on.
TikTok is its own beast, that's for sure. Every social platform is.
And you got to meet Mia in June because we came up. I'm looking through my photos because we came up to Tennessee.
Yes, you guys stopped by for like an hour, which was so great. I was so happy.
And Mia pooped her pants at your house. It was the best.
Yeah, I think that was like right before you guys got there. Actually, you had to like come in.
She just had a blowout, so good thing we're here.
Fun times, yes. I finally got to meet the bear. And then July, I had back-to-back trips. One weekend I was in Denver, and the next weekend I was in Chicago. Both times for family things. My mom just decided like randomly she wanted everyone to come back in July for a weekend to celebrate July birthdays. So we made that happen. I feel like a lot of my highlights this year are kind of travel related and not work related, but that's okay. So that's my July.
I feel like you always have travel related highlights. Like
I know.
You're always all over the place. So that's very fitting. Okay, so July for me, this was cool. I officially reached my milestone of 500 wholesale stockists in July, so that was exciting. Now I'm up to 678. So
wow.
Yeah, so that's cool. So I was really excited about that little milestone in July. And then I launched a game day collection with like the touchdown party pennant and all of the customizable game day pennants. Even brought on Team Apple and Team Pumpkin if you weren't like football vibes, you wanted like a different kind of school spirit. So that was cool. That was like my first like, I don't know, like big curated launch, I guess, after Mia. Well, no, I guess Star Spangled Summer. Never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. But anyway, did that little launch. There's something else in July, I think.
Yeah, how did the game day stuff end up doing? I can't remember.
It was más o menos. It was a little bit here or there. Like, I thought it was going to be gangbusters, but I always think everything I'm going to do is like, I'm like, this is it. This is going to be the big thing. And, you know, sometimes it is and sometimes it's not. But it wasn't as, like, hot as I wanted it to be. But it's also been a weird year. So I think I said that last year, too. But who knows, you guys? Oh, I wanted it to be better.
This year was weirder of a year, for sure.
It was weirder of a year. So, and then we took Mia to the beach for the first time. So, I mean, these are all like, you got to count those as a milestone thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I would count it.
Yes.
Okay, so August, I helped my friend Rebecca with some invitation assembly. So once again, I'm kind of like keeping my hand in the door with like, I'm happy to assist with wedding things. I just don't want the responsibility of any direct communication with clients. So that was really fun to help her with that. I went over to her place and like a whole week, I just did invitation assembly with her. And then I also, Will and I babysat our nieces that month at the end of the month, and his best friend and wife and their 7-week-old visited us that month too. So that was also crazy because their poor baby was in just a really rough stretch where he just had FOMO for everything. So he just like cried if he couldn't be a part of stuff.
That sounds like me too.
I know.
She's like, I just want to be a part of everything.
Yeah, and they were so great. It was fun to watch them because they both stayed like so calm, even though Everett wasn't, you know, he just was crying a lot.
Oh, poor little guy.
I know. But that was really fun.
Ooh, August was a busy one for me. So that was my official 1-year anniversary of having the outside space. So that was kind of fun to celebrate that. And we hosted our first stationery store day. So that was like a perfect little like in tandem kind of celebration there. which was really fun. So we were open on Saturday, and it was just like all these different stationery stores all over the globe. Really, we're just like celebrating having a paper shop, and we all did specials. And next year, I really want to like work with Paper Go Post and maybe some of the other local stationery shops and do like a little stationery crawl, like trying to plan something out like that where you get like a little passport and you can visit. I have thoughts. So, so that was cool. And then I did a game day pennant speaking of Paper Go Post at Paper Go Post. So we did a little pop-up shop at Paper Go Post, brought, a gajillion ribbons and all kinds of stuff, brought the whole shop with me basically, which was fun to kick off football season. Was that August? Yeah, I guess it was. And then I also launched Pinksgiving in August, like a lunatic. That was way too early, but I was really jazzed on it. Launched Pinksgiving, and then we also had the floors redone at the shop because there was like not a busted pipe. I don't know why I write that down, but there was something wrong with the air conditioner and water was everywhere. So we had to redo all the floors, and I was so stressed out about it. And literally Julianne's husband, Adam, and my husband basically did it in like a day. So it wasn't even a big deal, but the floors look way better. So that was cool.
Julianne, was she actually married at that point yet though?
I
don't think her and Adam were married in August.
They got married earlier than when their actual wedding was. So,
sneaky sneaks. Okay, that's right.
Yes.
I had forgotten about that.
Yes. And she's back here right now. So for a little bit. So enjoy having Julianne around, my girl.
Yeah.
Yay, Julianne. So yeah, August was very busy, and you guys, Pinksgiving was like so exciting, and that one definitely like had like a little moment on social media. People were like really jazzed about Pinksgiving, and like I feel like I kind of like coined that term, and it just became really fun. People were really excited about the hot pink added into the whole beige thing, and it just was, that was like one of my most favorite launches this year, I think, because people just got really on board with it.
Yeah, I agree. That felt very, very like Cami Monet to me. So
Yes,
I think that's part of the reason it
felt like I had my groove on that one. I was in my groove on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so September, I took a trip to Charleston with Will and my grandparents, which was so special because I don't know how much longer, we'll be able to do things like that, and for them to be able to still get around okay. We definitely like drove around Charleston a lot, but had such a lovely time with them, and Will and I celebrated our 7th anniversary, and September was also the month where I started really kicking things into gear for Ceramicon. So I had started to brainstorm about it and think about it a lot in the summer. And then I think early September hit, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm just going to start cold emailing artists to see if they want to be part of this. For anyone who's out of the loop, Ceramicon is the online summit for ceramicists and potters that I have been planning, which was, of course, spurred out of my passion for my hobby. And I was like, I have no desire to teach, but what if I create the space for others to teach? And so I'm freaking doing it. So September is when that started happening.
Okay, yes, that all very exciting. Ceramicon is so cute. The website, you guys, go look at it. It's amazing. Okay, September. For me, I also forgot to mention that my parents got a condo in August in Winter Park. So that was also kind of exciting because Papa G and Mama B can be down here with us. So that was cool. And then September, let's see. So Julianne had left at that point to go live her adventurous life out in the wild, wild west. And I brought on 2 new employees. I was just planning on hiring one. This might have been August now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. Sometime around this moment. So I brought on 2 new employees, one to basically replace Julianne with packing and shipping, and then a second one because I just liked her vibe and we would go to church together. And she was like, I just want to be a part of it. And I was like, come on in. So she just makes party bennets pretty much. And then I officially started running payroll because when I brought in the new girls, I was like, okay, this is a good time to pull the trigger on using Gusto in my business because we're transitioning out of having Julianne. So let's just start fresh with the new girls with having payroll. So started that halfway through the year, got that set up with Kickstart accounting. Not a big deal at all, but so there is that. And then also September, we had the hurricane hit us. I don't remember which one it was, what the name of it was. What was it? Start with an I?
Yeah, that's the one. And that's definitely the one that hit Fort Myers.
Yes. I can't remember which name it was. It starts with an I, doesn't it? I make that
was
up.
It anyway, Ian?
Is it Ian? Yes, I think it is Ian. Anyway, Hurricane Ian came and there was just flooding everywhere. We had to walk down the shop, and by some miracle, it did not get flooded because Alex put like flex tape outside of all of our doors. The shop has like some sketchy doors, but it all worked out. So we were really lucky, but a lot of Orlando was very, very, very flooded, and lots of places still kind of are. So it's weird when the hurricane damage in Central Florida, because some places will be completely fine, others are just like completely devastated, and it's just very different than being on the coast where it's just like, you know, everything's kind of messed up. But here, like, some people are lucky and some people just aren't. So anyway, those are Debbie Downer ones, but
yeah, I know. So October was my Rosemary Beach vacation with Will's side of the family. It was actually really cool. Now that Will's sister and her husband and kids live in Nashville, we actually saw his side of the family 9 times this year, which was really, I know, which was really cool. We've really been able to like nurture our relationship with our nieces and our nephew because of that. So we all spent a week in Rosemary Beach, which was very fun. And then Cami and I did our BBB photo shoot at the end of October. And that was also super fun. Definitely a highlight.
Yes. That was definitely a highlight. So much fun. Oh my gosh. Yeah. With Amelie, the branded boss lady, she's incredible. The photos are just like amazing. And she does like an awesome job. She has like the coolest photo studio, you guys. It's just like exactly what you want. I just loved it. That was really cool. And then October for me was just a bunch of Christmas prep. Basically me being like, if I don't make something now, we're not going to have Christmas. I think I said that every day until like October 31st. So, and then I started working with the University of Tennessee on making greeting cards. They would just order like thousands of smoky greeting cards for like gifts for, I don't know, people at the stadium and parties at the stadium, which I thought was really cool. I did work with a planner up there who had like used some of my stir sticks and some of my artwork for like some gift baskets, and that's like the Office of Gifting at the University of Tennessee like took note of it, and she just like loved everything. So they ordered a bunch of stuff, which I thought was cool. So did a couple of custom things for them as well, and that's my alma mater. So it was fun to get to design some cards for University of Tennessee.
Very cool. I love that.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we just wanted to hop in and talk about one of our amazing resources, the A to Z directory. All of us have thought at some point, how did she do that, or how did she make that? And maybe you don't know where to start or how the heck to produce this amazing product you've dreamt up.
Well, the A to Z directory is the missing puzzle piece in your biz, you guys. Seriously. So it's built in the form of a yearly membership, and it's your one-stop shop for finding suppliers and vendors for all the things. Literally where to print everything from custom invitations, greeting cards, mugs, koozies, acrylic printing, letterpress, custom ribbon. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And it literally goes from A to Z. From acrylic printers to zipper pouches, we have it in the A to Z directory.
We want to help all of you search less and create more with this list of 300 plus vendors and suppliers. Don't worry, they're very organized. It's not going to be overwhelming and confusing when you join. And this membership also includes access to a private Facebook community. It's incredibly active and involved. And if you need a question answered fast, that is definitely the place to go.
Yeah, our Facebook group really is the best. You guys, everyone is so helpful in there. And we're in there too, answering questions you guys might have. So it's a great way to get access to us and ask us things without sliding into our DMs. So we're more likely to answer you in the Facebook group, just saying. Anyway, also in the Facebook group, this is new for 2020 and we're really excited about it. We are hosting monthly Power Hour Q&A sessions that are live, and these are only available to our A to Z directory members. So you can hop in with us live and ask us all your burning questions in real time and just hang out with us every month. And we do these at different times so you can actually be there live, and the replays are always available in the Facebook group for members.
This resource is priced at $147 a year, which honestly is extremely affordable and is full of so many benefits, such as exclusive vendor coupons for members only. And we would love to have you guys join. Seriously, it's kind of like our family and our tribe. So visit bizbirthdaybash.com/directory to sign up today and use coupon code podcast2020 to receive $20 off your first year. That's podcast, all caps, 2020 for $20 off your first year.
We can't wait to see you in the Facebook group.
Next is November. I launched the Ceramicon website in November, and so started promoting that as much as possible in partnership with all the artists who are involved. So there are 18 artists So obviously it's always a little bit like herding cats when you have that many people. So I've just had to stay really organized and really on top of things. And we're getting close to having early bird registration at the end of this month. So it is happening fast. And then November was the Arizona trip. So Will had never been to the Grand Canyon. And once again, that was with Joel and Anna, my cousin and his wife. That we went out there to Arizona, Grand Canyon, and Tucson and spent some time out there. And Will also turned 30. So threw him a little 30th shindig and surprised the heck out of him. It was so much fun. So, yes.
Oh, 30. It sneaks up on you fast. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was so cool. Elisabeth did like a surprise like cabin party weekend for Will, which was so cool. Mm-hmm. Best wife ever award for you.
I love planning surprises. I love
it. Okay, so November. I feel like once November hits, it's just like nonstop from there for me every year, but now especially because Mia's birthday's in January and it just gets me. So November, I hired seasonal help. Look at me, because I wanted the shop to be open on Saturdays. So I was like, crap, I need to hire her like immediately. So made that happen in like a day, basically. And then I host another sip-in shop, and Alex and I go up, well, all of us go up to Birmingham for like this big race weekend and spend Thanksgiving with my family, and then come back down and spend Thanksgiving with his family. It's like a whole thing, but it's like right before Black Friday, obviously. So it's always just like chaos of getting everything prepped at the shop and squeezing in a sip-in shop and the trip and just everything. Because as soon as we get back, it's just like Christmas, and it's just crazy. You guys know. So I had the Christmas launch in January with 11 holiday pennants. For some reason, I just decided to do like 1,000 pennants this year. And let's see, I think I did like 4 or 5 new cards, and of course brought in a ton of fun party wear and fun Christmas gifts. And the shop was like, you guys, I cannot express to you like how much stuff was in the shop at this point. It was amazing. It was so much fun. So November was just like a very, very busy month. And this is when I was like, I should start working on Mia's birthday. And did I not start working on Mia's birthday? No, I did not. And Mia also finished doing, she did swim lessons, ISR, which is like infant swim rescue. And so if you throw her in a pool, she can float, and she loves it. So she finished that in November. And so it's pretty cool that my little baby can basically turn herself over if she gets in water. So I think that is very cool, you guys.
Loved watching Mia's swim lesson when I was there in October. So fun and so cute. She really did love it, which is rare.
She really did love it. It's like hilarious. So, and then I sent you that video a while ago of her, like, they put her underwater and she just flips over like a little turtle, and it's just, you're like, it's crazy.
It's
so
incredible.
That was cool. Yeah. Oh, that reminds me, actually, I think I'm going to do a refresher thing. Let me just pull up her email so I can remember. Okay.
Okay, so December, my parents visited early in the month. So that was really nice to have them here. I kind of had this realization of, oh my gosh, like I don't have any plans to see any of my family until June 2023. So what can I do to try to squeeze some things in between there? So my parents came out, which was really fun. And then sadly, this is going to be like a Debbie Downer of a thing to end on, but
oh no,
we had to put Azula down at the end of December, just a few days before Christmas, which was the worst thing ever. Probably one of the worst days of my life. It was just tough. She had chronic kidney disease, and we had been managing it for almost 2 full years at that point. And one day she was like doing okay. And then all of a sudden we realized that she had been not doing okay for like kind of a few weeks, and things just went downhill kind of quickly. So it ended up being time, but really, really hard and heartbreaking nonetheless. I've never had to make that decision before, like as an adult, to put a pet down. I lost a pet growing up, but my parents would have, made that decision or been kind of in charge of that whole process. So yeah, talk about like a milestone as an adult that's super crappy.
Yeah, definitely a super crappy milestone,
Yeah. But overall, like, net positive year for sure. A lot of wonderful and amazing experiences. We're just like sad that we don't have her with us anymore.
No, it is sad. It's always so sad losing a pet. It's just the worst. It just breaks your little heart.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Okay. So let's see. December for me. I launched 2 more pajama sets with Little Pajama Co. I think actually one was in November. We did like a Christmas penguins and then little disco pajamas in December, which was very exciting. You guys all really loved the disco pajamas. So that was very fun. We're working on some other pajamas for next year, hopefully. So trying to come up with some designs like today, basically. And then obviously just, it's just Christmas in December. And it was Mia's first Christmas. My family was here and I just had like such a great time in enjoying her first Christmas and making it special for her and celebrating with Mia and all those fun things. And then after Christmas is over, it's just like very sad to take down all the stuff in the shop. And it's just like, meh. And now we're on to January and it's Mia's birthday. So that's all I'm focused on at this point.
Yeah. I freaking love those disco pajamas, by the way. They're so cute. Anytime I see you repost something about someone wearing them, I'm like, oh my gosh, these are so cute. I can't handle it.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. There's not really anything else like them out there. So definitely love those. I mean, they just fit the vibe. They were just so much fun.
How do I even find those on your website? Oh, pajamas. I see it now.
Elisabeth, it's very organized. I also redid like my whole website structure in December as well, or November.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
What did you redo specifically?
Just the hierarchy of all the navigation, because all that other stuff like used to just, I don't know if we remember how it used to be, but it's different. The navigation is all different.
Okay.
Since I brought in so many other categories, so just reorganizing all of that stuff. Oh, and Mia was in a magazine in December. That's fun. And she was in, not Mia. I mean, it was my party pennants and my store was in the magazine, but Mia was in the picture. So for the gift shop and occasions magazine, it was about like baby showers. My party pennants were featured in it. Oh, and I did some stuff with Papyrus too. I forgot to mention all that. Whatever. That's not important. Whatever, guys. You see what I do on Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of what you do. It'll come up.
Yes.
Okay. I thought we would be able to crush through that faster, but that's okay. We always have a lot to say.
There's so many things to talk about.
So we will move into nitty-gritty finances now to talk about some of this stuff. I'll go ahead and just like hammer out my things really quick. It's not too complicated. Cami's is more complicated. So mine will be relatively straightforward. This was a much smaller year for me, just like financially in general. I think my overall revenue was about $80,000 in 2021. And in 2022, it was $31,000, you guys. So like a lot less. And I had $12,500 of that be expenses. So I had a profit of $19,000. And this is just because my year looked so dramatically different from any other year that I have had before. And because so much of like Q4 was all planning for revenue I would receive Q1 of this year. So it's like a lot of time dedicated in 2022 to something I would never see a paycheck for until 2023. So that's just the real honest numbers right there. And then of course, I get distributions from Biz Birthday Bash and payroll through Biz Birthday Bash. So my total income for everything was $46,000. And all things considered, I am still very happy with that. That is what I would consider a livable wage. I want that to improve a lot this year. And of course, I'm married to my wonderful husband and he has income as well and a W-2. So we can cover everything and all the expenses in our household. But the breakdown for my income and the way that I made money is that course management and hourly work was the majority of that at a little more than $25,000. Etsy surprised me, actually. I had like $1,500 of Etsy revenue that came through. Yeah, I continued to sell wax seals, people just buying them from me on there. And actually, I put my shop on vacation mode at the end of the year, and I haven't turned it back on yet, and I don't know if I will. So TBD on that. I had a little bit of revenue from Amazon and Google, about like $500 between the two of them. I had a live art event that I got paid $850 for. Half of that went to my partner, though, who helped me during that event. Invitation assembly, when I helped my friend Rebecca, was about $500 of income. And then I did a random web design project for a wedding website, and I charged $550 for that. I had a mentorship call in there and I charge $150 for those. And then miscellaneous, I was like, there's about $1,000 here that I'm not able to account for. But I think some of that is checks that I received for calligraphy jobs that I did.
Or like maybe like Amazon revenue or something, or YouTube.
Yeah, that's what Amazon and Google, sometimes. I did account for those already. But sorry. Yeah, I'm pretty sure like most of those are checks for calligraphy jobs or maybe a check for something else I did that I forgot about. Um,
Yeah.
so the way that I managed paying myself from Eliza Ann, I actually still had a really good influx of cash from 2021 that I continued to use to transfer from my business account to my personal account in 2022. So I tend to not pay myself like a huge windfall transfer even when I make a lot of money at once, because I would prefer to have a consistent paycheck every month. So at the beginning of the month, I've gone to the point now where I do one transfer at the beginning of the month from my Eliza Ann bank account, my business checking account, to my personal checking account. Those are like completely separate. And so I was able to continuously pay myself very regularly, partly because I still had this like influx from 2021 that I hadn't paid out fully. But for anyone who's like confused, it doesn't matter if you do things that way. I had already paid taxes on my income reported for 2021. Like, it doesn't matter that it still was in my business account. Like, just in case anyone is like, what? Like, how are you doing that? And other funny note is I totally overpaid on my estimated taxes this year during Q1 because I was basing it off last year's income, you guys, which, as I said, was like 80,000 something. By the time you took out expenses, it was less than that. But either way, I like paid Q1 and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to need to pay this much. So I ended up paying $10 for Q2, Q3, and Q4. And this means the IRS might send me a notification and like fine me for that. Last time I was fined for that, it was $79. But my accountant wrote an explanation. She wrote a note to the IRS that was basically like, hey, my client did this because X, Y, and Z, and then they waived that fee. So if that ever happens to you, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I paid out like so much money in Q1 that I was like, whoopsies, and basically didn't have to pay anything else. Oh my gosh, the remaining of the year. So there, that is my financial overview, and we'll see what this year looks like with Ceramicon. I'm really excited because I've been putting a ton of effort in towards that, and like the launch is coming up at the end of this month, and I'm getting nervous, but I'm excited. So there you have it. There's all my stuff.
All my stuff. Yeah. So this year is obviously very different for me too because had a baby. You know what? I'm actually so glad that Mia was born in January because it just feels like very nice and fresh and clean and easy. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's like, oh, okay, thanks. But also no, because right after Christmas, and come on, baby girl, give your mama some time to plan. But anyway, so weird year for me. I also feel like I've talked about this in the podcast a ton, how this has been such a very hard year for everyone in the retail industry. And that doesn't matter if you sell retail or wholesale, because either way, you're going to see the effects of things because people are holding on to their money a little tighter. I feel like I'm like disclaiming what I made, but I'm just throwing it out there. So this year I brought in $315,000. And my goal was $500,000, 500,000. So did not hit the goal. But last year I made like 375,000. So I feel like year over year, I did not see the growth that I usually like to see. I always like to go up, and I didn't, but I kind of maintained. I feel like I maintained pretty well in terms of not having wedding invitations at all this year and having Mia. So I'm still feeling pretty good about that number. So I didn't add up like all the expenses because mine are in this document and they're all like into categories from my bookkeeper, and it's all like very detailed, and I get confused because it's so detailed, you guys. But I paid myself $76,000 from that with payroll, and because I didn't start running payroll till halfway throughout the year, the rest were considered like owner's draw. So that was like my distributions because they were just taken out like me paying myself randomly, not through a payroll. So then at the end of the year, I had to actually run a really ginormous payroll for myself to make sure it was more than what I had paid myself in distributions for the rest of the year.
Isn't that so fun? I love all the crazy rules.
I know, like, okay, here's that $30,000 payroll. But then taxes, and you're like, oh, wait, that didn't all come over. So that's a bummer. Rough. But anyway, so yeah. And then my biggest expense in my business is cost of goods, which cost of goods sold is, in my little thing here, it is shipping and product cost combined. So I spent $130,000 on shipping and ordering products.
Okay.
So That's a lot. And then the next biggest expense after that is payroll at $67,000, and that includes me and all of my workers. And then next up would be facilities. So like my rent, my utilities, things like that comes in at $22,000 a year. And then the next ginormous expense is Etsy ads and marketing coming in at $21,000. And most of that is for the back half of the year because I turn on the ads like super high for November and December for Christmas.
And do you feel like you saw a good return on those this year?
Yeah. I always see a good return on those. But yeah, so I normally just like turn them on way high. I keep them on all year, but I just crank up the volume. You know what I'm saying? The back half of the year because I'm like, well, it's now or never.
Yeah,
let's
right.
Go.
Exactly.
Let's see. Okay. Other things to know. So last year I talked about my average order value, which is something I always look at every year. And so the year before, 2020, my average order value was $58. And then 2021, I raised it up to $103. And then 2022, my average order value was $107.
Hey,
so it went up a little bit, but hey, you know what? I'm like, I feel like that's a good average order value to keep it at. And also this is why my free shipping thing is at $150 because I want it like right above my average order value. So that's my little strategy there. And then let's see, what other number stats do we need? Let's go through.
Oh, wait, I do have a question for you. So payroll, because you started running that in September, that $67,000 that was your expense, is that just for Q4 of last year? Because were you paying out people?
Yeah.
How did you pay out people before?
From like September on.
Oh, okay.
I would just send like a PayPal thing. Yeah. So, okay. And then breaking down like percentage wise, like where everything came from, because I like to know that stuff. So fair, but wholesale is basically 37% of my revenue comes from wholesale. And then 21% is from Shopify. Actually, it's probably more like 30 because PayPal's over here as well. So 30% is basically Shopify. And then the other 30% is from Etsy. That's where things typically break down the most. So I would say I'm 60% retail, 40% wholesale. But there's also some other little small things here and there, but that's kind of how it breaks out. So I really wanted to focus growing retail more in the next year because I spent so much time growing wholesale. But here is a bummer stat, you guys. Year over year, percent change. My Etsy sales were down 24%. Which sucks because on the Etsy side as well, my views and stats and everything were all up, but the revenue was down 24%. So that was like that was like less, like $30,000 less than last year, which like that's a pretty big hit. So that was a bummer. But my wholesale sales were only down 2%.
Okay.
So we kind of maintained on the wholesale.
That's really great, actually, considering that gap in Etsy. No, that's great that wholesale only was down 2%.
Yeah. The wholesale was only down 2%, which is weird because I was like, oh my gosh, we are like not having any orders. But I guess they just kind of like trickled in, thankfully. But the Etsy being down, and then also Shopify was also about the same, only a 0.2% down. So Shopify like stayed the same as well.
Okay.
Which is my website.
Also good.
So we maintained there. Yeah. So Etsy was just the bummer. He was just the bum leg who wasn't doing any work
this year.
I don't know. Yeah, seriously. So that is annoying. Let's see other things to note on here. I don't know. Like I said, me and Elisabeth were just talking about this before that we started recording, but I always get so confused when the payroll is like an expense, but it's also like the money you made. And I'm like, get so confused on like how much should I actually make because what you made is now an expense. So
yeah.
I just get confused. Okay.
S corps are fun, you guys, but they're good because they are beneficial from a tax standpoint. But yes, it is odd because it is not only your payroll for yourself, like your W-2 income, basically, but it is an expense for Cami Monet, the business.
Yeah, I just get so confused on that. But anyway, the numbers are all there. So, and considering I used to work like probably like 50 hours a week, now I work like 2. I'm like, you know what? I was working way too hard before. Although I still feel like I don't have enough time to do all the things that I want to do, but I feel like we maintained pretty well for like having a baby, having a weird year, being able to bring on, I had 5 people working for me this year, you guys. So there was a lot of stuff going on, and being able to pay everybody else, pay the rent went up. I mean, everything went up, cost of goods went up, shipping went up. Like, we still got the job done. So
yes. And if I remember correctly, your expenses you cut down on a little bit, because I think I remember in 2021 that those were like, it was maybe
yes.
150.
It was 190
Oh
actually.
my gosh.
And then I know. So we did cut down a lot because we weren't shipping as many orders on Etsy. And what else? Oh, and because I think I started charging for shipping on Etsy again as well. Wait, that makes sense?
So wait, so yeah, your bottom lines are going to be actually relatively similar because of that.
Yeah, it is relatively similar, basically. And then I still had some wedding income from last year, just from like some brides who were like last minute stuff that I was just like wrapping up. And they were like big chunks of change, and a huge project with Papyrus that was like $15,000. I didn't have that this year. So without those weddings at all, like no weddings at all or any custom work at all this year, that was like a huge thing. And then Etsy being down. So that's pretty much for all those things. But otherwise, like everything basically maintained. So I'm like, all right.
Yeah, honestly, I think that the lesson from this is like, all things considered, this went really well. Like,
yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's good. Because I truly feel like I did not put very much effort into my business this year at all.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling good. I mean, I did, because it feels like effort, because you have to work really hard to do anything with a baby.
Yeah.
But it was like way less effort than I normally put in.
Yeah, no, I agree on that completely. And not saying that it's like less that you're not doing anything. I agree that you've cut down on your hours so much, but to continue to maintain at this and have a business that is like essentially running itself is really exciting.
Yeah.
This is a great place to be in.
Yeah, I'm like super stoked, because pretty much I just hang out with Mia all day, and I pop in the shop every once in a while, and I'm like, I kind of have it made where I want it to be. Like, I have everyone else doing everything else, and I'm pretty hands off, and things are kind of running, and I'm still getting paid. So I'm feeling good.
Yes, that's really incredible. I'm actually so proud of you.
Oh my gosh, thank you. I worked really hard to get here.
Yeah, you did. That's the thing, is you like
busted my butt last year.
You put in like the overtime to the max, like the years leading up to this year and leading up to having Mia. And that literally paid off for you, because you got your paycheck without putting in like the same hours. So
I know. It's like really amazing. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm just excited for 2023, because there is so much room for growth. And I get me, I get so excited about like possibilities and stuff, and like I just feel like I'm always going to have that like overachiever, ambitious mindset, because it's just very fun for me. Like, it's all just a game. I think I talked about this last year too. Like, numbers are just a game to me. It's just like, oh, how can I make this more? How can I, like, I don't even care about the money. I just enjoy like pushing for something. But it is nice too, where it can also be like, hey, you can just chill the fudge out, go to the park with Mia, and it's going to be fine, so.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely like the biggest lesson that you probably learned this year is.
Yeah, I was like, as long as we don't go into debt, everything's fine, because I'm having a great time.
Yeah,
so.
no.
At the end of the day.
Very, very cool. It'll be exciting to continue to talk about more retail things on the podcast. And look at us. We did it. We're only a little bit over 50 minutes, but we've cut out about like 25 minutes. And I feel like covered pretty much the same ground that we did last year. We just did it quicker.
Yeah, we did it quicker, because I mean, I could, yammer on about 1,000 million things, but that's all y'all really need to know, I guess. Those are the big heavy hitting numbers, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Heavy hitting numbers. And we've already talked about I think in another episode, did we talk about what we were looking forward to this year? I don't know. We'll include that in a different episode. Oh, we did, or we didn't?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I think we did talk about that in
our goals
Q and cake
episode.
thing or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we might have talked about that a little bit. Yeah. Okay. It's hard to keep track, you guys. There's always a lot happening.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you have it, you guys. Our official year in review 2022. That's a wrap.
Bye.
Bye.
Sorry. Just literally just froze there for a minute. I don't know what happened. I was buffering.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye.